How we doing, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Before we get started, you guys, do me a favor, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're growing this channel to 4,000 subscribers, and I need your guys' help to get there. A few things I want to talk about, you guys. So off we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. First and foremost, the final game of our West Coast trip is tonight. The Miami Heat take on the Denver Nuggets in an NBA Finals rematch. Doesn't look like Tyler Hero's going to play. He is listed as questionable, but I doubt he'll play tonight. But look, I don't see why the Miami Heat can't shock Denver. I don't see why the Miami Heat can't go in there and get a dub tonight. You got Jimmy Butler, you got Bam Adebayo, you got the man Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez Jr. You got a bunch of dogs that can go in there and get this dub. Show the world that you can compete with the best. I'm looking for a Heat dub tonight. It'd be sweet, you guys, if we start the second half of the season 4-0, going 4-0 on a West Coast trip with a favorable matchup in the month of March and April coming up. This Miami Heat team is going to be deadly. We are currently the 5th seed, tied for 6th with Philadelphia. But as I mentioned, we got a favorable schedule. The Miami Heat can easily slide to the 3rd seed toward the latter part of the season. You get home court advantage in the first round, stay away from the play-in, and you can get the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's my hope. That's my wish. Now, before we get to the topic at hand, Duncan Robinson, you guys, I want to mention a few things that are going on currently with the Miami Heat. First and foremost, I'm laughing. For those of you that see me laughing, I'm sure you know why. A video was released yesterday by the Fall Out Boy with their new hit single, So Much, and it stars our man, Jimmy Butler, rocking the emo Jimmy look from earlier this season with the straight hair, the black eyeliners. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love the Fall Out Boy. I thought the song is great. It's catchy as hell. The fact that Jimmy Butler's on there for the whole video, I thought it was a cameo. He's in there for the whole video. Hope that's not the reason why he was out for so long. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm with it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I thought it was entertaining. You watch that and you think, damn, man, just give this man an NBA championship. I just feel it, y'all. I feel that this is the year. I feel that this is the year where Jimmy Butler can make his stamp and solidify himself as one of the best. If Jimmy Butler leads the Miami Heat to an NBA championship this year, he's going to be the guy that did it, that wasn't, a button star, that he wasn't a guy that was, a highlighted college career guy, selected number 1. He was selected at the end of the first round. He was, people were always saying that he would never be a leading guy to lead a team to a championship. And look at him now. So Jimmy Butler, we riding behind you, brother. And one more thing I want to talk about, you guys. Some people told me to address it yesterday in the comments. I didn't want to make a whole video on it because I'm honestly done with the subject. Damian Lillard. People were talking about, he mentioned in an interview that he's pretty unhappy in Milwaukee. His family is not with him, so it depresses him. He doesn't really do a lot when he's there. He plays a game, he goes home, watches TV, doesn't really do much. He's living a depressing state. I mean, I could make a video on that, you guys, but I think that topic is so dead. We've talked about this already. That was Damian Lillard's decision. He didn't have to go to Milwaukee. He could have just stuck his ground and come to Miami. I know a lot of people are saying that Damian Lillard is not like James Harden. I get that, but if you wanted to come to Miami, you should have stuck with your guns. You didn't. Your fault. Move on. He's the enemy now. Milwaukee, we gonna bust your ass in the playoffs if we see you. And that's it. Damian Lillard is no longer this pipe dream. He's gone. He went to Milwaukee. It's his fault. You want to make boo-boo face about it? Get a time machine, go back to the past and fix it. Whoops! You can't. So move on. We're done with this topic. The Miami Heat is the Miami Heat right now. I'm loving this roster that we have. I'm confident in this roster. I know that we didn't get a starting power forward, but you're seeing a mixed combination of Bam Adebayo, Nikola Jovic, and Kevin Love. I'm loving me that big man rotation. Let's rock and roll with the playoffs. Let's go full force. Hopefully we're fully healthy and we go bust some ass in the playoffs. But one guy I want to talk about, one guy that's going to be key into getting us far into the playoffs. One guy that's evolved his game that needs to get flowers. This man right here. Duncan Robinson, a.k.a. who I call Baby Dunk. I want to give a little props to Duncan Robinson. 1 second, you guys. As you guys know, I'm on the work grind here. Excuse me. Anyways, so we all know the story for Duncan Robinson. Most of us do. So I'm going to give you guys a little recap. Duncan Robinson went undrafted in 2018. He was picked up by the Miami Heat in Dwayne Wade's last season dance year. The 2019 season. Didn't really do much. Only played 15 games. But Dwayne Wade would always say that Duncan Robinson was that lethal shooter. And he showed it in the 2019-2020 season. When Jimmy Butler was brought to the Miami Heat, one funny thing that Jimmy Butler would always say when they would do the press conferences, people would talk about Tyler Hero shooting. Jimmy Butler would always talk about Duncan Robinson. And he broke out in the 2020 season, averaging 13.5 points, 44% from the three-point line. And in 2021, he did something similar. 13 points a game, 41% from the three-point line. For 2 years, Duncan Robinson was known as a sniper. A lethal, deadly sniper. And the Miami Heat rewarded him with a 5-year, $90 million contract. And then after that season, downhill. The 2022 season, the Miami Heat picked up Kyle Lowry. You saw a starting lineup, a backcourt of Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson. Wasn't working. Wasn't working. Duncan Robinson wasn't hitting his shots. In the 2022 season, Duncan Robinson eventually would switch playing time with Max Strus here and there. Eventually losing his starting spot to Max Strus come playoff time. Duncan Robinson in the 2022 season averages about 11 points, 37% from the three-point line. And you're thinking, okay, not as bad. He's still giving you a contribution. But after he signs this big contract, his numbers go down. So you start to worry. Is it because of the money? What's going on? Well, I really think what was happening, you guys, was that teams were figuring it out. They were figuring out how to play Duncan. In the NBA, you need to evolve your game. If you're a slasher in your 20s, as you get older in your 30s, you got to change your style, kind of like Dwayne Wade. If you're a shooter and you're just known as a shooter, defenses can collapse on that and they can work around that. And one thing about a shooter is that if you're going cold, if you're missing, it gets to your head. A lot of people have said Duncan Robinson is the type of player that lets things get in his head. And that happened in the 2023 season. Duncan started he didn't really start. Like I said, he lost his starting job in the 2022 season to Max Strus later on in the season. So in 2023, he completely came off the bench. He only played 42 games. There was a lot of DNPs that year for Duncan Robinson. He only averaged 6 points a game, 32% from the three-point line. And it was just a waste of a year. And you're thinking, you're giving this guy $18 million. And Max Strus, who's getting $1 million a year, is playing better than him. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why I say that Erik Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. Because he don't give a damn how much money you make. If you're not performing well, he'll put your ass in the bench. This right here is a perfect example. Duncan Robinson, making $18 million, did not play 40 games. And a lot of that was not due to injury. He just didn't crack the rotation. He needed to evolve. He needed to get better. And ladies and gentlemen, he did that. He did that in the 2023 playoffs. Because when Duncan Robinson wasn't playing, averaging these crap numbers he did, all the injuries that were happening to Victor Oladipo, to Tyler Hero, with those guys going down, it gave Duncan Robinson an opportunity. Spo had no choice but to play Duncan in the playoffs. And Duncan emerged. And you saw that Duncan Robinson just wasn't sitting in the bench collecting his big payday. He was working on his game. He was evolving. You saw Duncan Robinson in the 2023 playoffs slashing to the basket, cutting, getting good shots. Not just hitting three-point shots, passing. Working on the pick and roll with Bam Adebayo, being efficient, throwing some beautiful lobs. And you're thinking, This is just a little hot streak. He would have that sometimes in the 2022 season when he lost his starting role. He would have that sometimes. But could it be consistent? And he was, especially in the NBA Finals in Game 2. And this season, ladies and gentlemen, last year, Duncan Robinson averages 6.5 points a game. This year, for the 2023-2024 season, in 53 games, 21 starts, Duncan Robinson is back to the 2020 form. He's averaging 13.5 points, just like 2020. He's averaging 41% from the three-point line, not as high as 44% in 2020, but he's meeting that criteria. He's averaging 3 assists a game, a career high. He's never done that in the NBA. The most he's been able to crack was 1.8 assists in the 2021 season. So that shows you what he's doing different in his game. He's averaging 2.5 rebounds. He's averaging 45% for the field, 88% from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, Duncan Robinson is almost cracking a 50-40-90. That's an amazing feature to be as an NBA player. When you can crack 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 90% from the free throw, you're a valuable player to your team. And that's why, moving forward, Eric Spoelstra needs to seriously consider who does he go with as the starting shooting guard moving forward. Tyler Hero with Terry Rozier in the backcourt can be lethal, but they're two players of the same. If you slide Duncan Robinson as the starting shooting guard with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Nikola Jovic, we saw it. The last game, guys, against Portland. That starting lineup looked beautiful to me. Now, I know Portland went on a run in the beginning. Miami eventually caught it back. But that lineup out there can be lethal. Maybe switch Nikola Jovic for somebody who gives you better defense, like maybe Caleb Martin. It's depending on the matchup. But I like Duncan Robinson starting because I think he plays a lot better with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And that way, if you have Duncan Robinson or Terry Rozier going to the bench, you easily slide Tyler Hero against the second unit, and we're going to spring away with a lead. That's just the only point that I've been trying to make lately. Now, I'm not the coach. That's Eric Spoelstra's job. But I will say this. With the numbers that Duncan Robinson averaged last season to the numbers he's averaging this season, I don't think he's the lead candidate, but we need to seriously consider Duncan Robinson as a candidate for most improved player for 2024. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, Duncan Robinson is back to 2020 form, but better. You are seeing the very best of Duncan Robinson. No, he's not averaging 25 points a game. No, he's not averaging 52% from the three-point line. But Duncan Robinson is not a leader. He's not your lead guy. He's your fourth best player. And if my fourth best player is giving me 13 to 14 points a game, 40% from the three-point line with everything else that I told you, that to me, ladies and gentlemen, is a guy that can help the Miami Heat win the NBA championship. Now, this is a filler season because Duncan Robinson has 3 more years left on his contract. The third year is a player option, which if he continues to play like this, he will be opting out of. This year he's making 18, next year he's making 19, and his final season he's making almost $20 million. So this season's a filler year. We're going to see what Duncan does next season, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Duncan Robinson has played himself back to the contract form that he's made? Or do you think he's going to end up getting more when he becomes a free agent? Also, let me know what you guys think. I've been asking you guys, but I want to continue to hear. Do you think that Duncan Robinson starting as the shooting guard is the optimal position moving forward? Or do you think it's better having Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier starting in the backcourt? Don't forget to like the video, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Would really mean a lot to me, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for the love and support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. That's enough said. Let's go Heat.